These videos never seem to get any easier, so let's try and make this quick. You guys all know Windsor. She was born and raised on my channel, and I'll go ahead and I'll link the playlist so you guys can watch again, I guess, if you want, and see her growing up, you know, between 1 day old and 8 weeks, and then we did the kitty catch-ups and followed her, I think, to about a year, but those were monthly, and yeah, Windsor was a very special cat. And in the first episode of the kitten vlogs, I know I actually did screw up between her and Leilani as the fifth born. She was the actual fifth born. The fifth born was mostly black. The reason I screwed up is because I was telling them apart, because the fifth born still had a bit of an umbilical cord left. Lady didn't eat it, which is kind of strange. They're supposed to have the umbilical cord a little longer, but either way, Leilani, I didn't realize she still had it, and since they were just born, it was how I was trying to tell them apart, and that's how it went. I later on realized my mistake. I don't think I said so in the vlogs. You can still see her growing up from a little bitty baby, which begs the question, she was so young. She would have been 5 years old, I believe, April 26th. So what happened with her? It started last night. She was vomiting and we didn't really know what was wrong. I kind of passed it off as a hairball, but then she just kind of laid on my floor and she looked really, really miserable, and I'm like, okay, something is wrong with this cat. It's not just a hairball. And she became a little bit cold, like her body temperature definitely had dropped. She wasn't really able to control herself much. She was defecating on herself. I stayed up with her until about 4 a.m. and then I finally went to bed because we were going to call the vet in the morning, since the only 24-hour services we have around here are kind of far away, and frankly we just don't have the kind of money that those places charge. We wouldn't have been able to afford it, and we didn't know what was wrong. We didn't know if she had like a cat flu or what. We just thought she'll be fine at least until morning. It's only a few more hours. My mom woke me up at about 7:20 to go ahead because the vet opens at 8. She came in my room and Windsor like crawled over to the side of my bed and was just laying there, and the first thing we both said is she alive? And she was. She was very unresponsive. She would barely move her head. She just kind of laid there. Finally it turned to 8 o'clock and we called the vet at about 8:04 and made an appointment. And at 8:12 we called and canceled it because she was already gone. The best thing we can figure out as to what happened is we think it was probably some intestinal blockage. Windsor had a habit. I tried to get her off of it, but I didn't know how. The vet even told us like, hey, this is dangerous, you really need to get her to stop doing this, but we didn't know how. She was doing this thing that in cats I believe is called pica. It's where they eat objects that aren't really edible, and her favorite thing to eat was actually my hair, and you guys know me, I have hair that's like 2 feet long. So obviously it's not a very good thing, and the vet got onto us saying like, hey, if she eats this, you know, hair is strong, it can cut up her intestines and everything. It's kind of hard to, you know, just not let your cat eat hair. I know it sounds really strange, but like, she would go and she'd eat off the bathroom rug. Well, then I'd go and I'd pull it out of her mouth. Well, then she'd come over to the rug at my desk and eat it off of there. Then she'd eat off my chair, and then she'd go over to my bed and eat off my blankets. And it's like, there was no way to stop her. I kept pulling it out of her mouth and she just kept eating it. And every time I pulled some out, she went and she looked for more hair. I didn't know what to do. Cats that are determined to eat something are just going to eat it, and I don't know what could have been done to prevent it. There's so many things that can contribute to pica, and it ranges from like stress to vitamin deficiency, and she could have even been doing it just because she was bored. I mean, I didn't know. So we think she went ahead and got something and got her intestines blocked, and we did not know it would kill her so quickly, that within 12 hours she would be gone. So this is normally the part where I get into the backstory and everything, but you guys know it all. So for those of you who weren't watching me several years ago, let me go ahead and give you a recap. So it started off with this cat that my grandfather got, started hanging around, this beautiful long-haired golden cat, and we kept telling my grandfather, hey, you need to get this cat fixed. You need to get this cat fixed if you're going to keep her. And he's like, yeah, I'll do it eventually. And well, obviously you know where this is going. 2 months later, she was getting fat, and he was like, I gotta stop feeding her so much, she's getting fat. And we're like, oh my god, seriously? She's pregnant. And so he was like, well, then I'll just take her to the pound. I was like, no, they immediately euthanize pregnant cats. She's so nice, she's so sweet. And so we're like, okay, we'll take her, we'll raise our babies, and then she'll go back to you. I don't know if I ever really finished the story too much, but the reason that lady never went back to my grandfather's house and is still here is because about a month after we took her is when he got diagnosed with cancer. He passed away about 4 years ago now. Lady just stayed with us, and that's what happened with Lady. But the babies that she had, all of them got adopted except Windsor. We put like an ad on Craigslist, and everyone was always asking. There's 3 people that were still interested in a kitten, but at that time we just got Honey to her new home, and Windsor was the only one we had left. And when my mom messaged these people that, okay, this one that's mostly black is the only one left, we didn't get any responses. And I was kind of like, Mom, can we keep her? And so we did. She grew up just like a regular kitten. She was very talkative, and I know some people would think that she was kind of a cold cat. She was kind of skittish. She was very easily startled and ran and hid. She needed her space. Just when she had enough, she went and retreated to her little cave, and then when she was ready for some attention, she came and she'd lay on your lap and purr and meow and just be the happiest little thing. And you guys probably also remember that when she was about 2 years old, she lost all but 2 of her teeth. The vet said she had a genetic disease and her teeth were causing her a lot of pain, and after she got her teeth removed, after she recovered from, you know, the shock and everything of losing her teeth, she became the world's happiest cat. She would come and sleep on my lap. She's the only lap cat I've ever really had, actually. She'd come in my room and she'd go meow, meow, and she just screamed at the top of her lungs. Never had a louder cat. And then no matter what I was doing, she would come, she'd jump up on my lap, and she'd sit there and look at me for a minute, purring while I pet her. And then she'd flop down on her side and rest her head on my chest, and every once in a while she'd look up at me and just purr and smile. And then after about 15-20 minutes, she decided she had enough and she left. And she would often cry, and I'd turn around and there she was bringing me a toy. Just to say, look Mama, I killed it, I killed it. It was adorable. And of course, when we got Peek, she did not really take too well to him. She was like, oh my god, a kitten. But soon they became friends after he got a little bit bigger and she realized he was staying. And the two would play together every time. And sometimes we'd go into sleep and be like, oh my god, there's a herd of elephants running around the house. And no, it's just Peek and Windsor. It was cute watching him grow up because Peek is so big. I mean, you had this cat that was little, and Windsor used to be able to topple him and everything, and suddenly she couldn't flip him over anymore. So this loss of her is gonna be a little hard on him, so it's gonna take a little bit of care for him and Lily and Daisy and Lady, because they're all we have left now. I had a lot of great memories with that cat. Even though her time was short, she was very well loved, and she had a fulfilling life. There's not really a whole lot more to say, so we'll go ahead and end it off here. So thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Enjoy these pictures of her. Later.